Today I would like to introduce you our NSSM machine. And first I will introduce you the installation. When you are getting the machine, you will get one wooden case. So when you take out the machine, it will be almost like this. And then the first step we need to install is for the piston circuit. As you can see from the piston circuit, we will only just need to put the piston circuit on side of this frame. And then there will be a screw here, which we need to rotate it very tightly. And then the first step is finished. The second step, we need to connection for the pipeline. So you can see we will connect one pipeline with this port and another one with this port. And by the end of two pipelines, we will use the Y connector to do the combination. And then we connecting with the test along, or you can connect it with the mask when you are doing the operation. The third installation will be the vaporizer. And as you can see, we take out the vaporizer and we just load it inside like this. And then we rotate this button to close it. So then it will be very steady here and will not be poured down on the floor. The last part will be here on the back side of the NSSM machine. We will connect the oxygen source and also connect with the nitric oxide, or even for this machine you can choose to change the nitric oxide to air. So why here we have two oxygen ports? Because we need to know if you both have the central oxygen supply and also the oxygen cylinder, then we can connect the oxygen cylinder from here and also connect the central oxygen supply from here. So then no matter each of it is failure, another one will give the oxygen automatically. So it can keep the safe, because oxygen is the driven gas for this machine. So for now, let's start the introduction for the machine function and the parameters. When we switch on the power, you will first see the self-testing by the screen. So under these 3 seconds, actually the machine is doing the automatically testing for itself. So it can ensure there is no any damage to the patient and also ensure the machine itself in a good condition. So after the self-testing, if there is any problem, it will be shown on the upper side here by yellow or red color. So why we have two colors? We will always mention that the red color and the yellow color, if they both come, then the red color means the first level and the yellow color means the second level. So the red color alarm is the first one we need to solve. So by now you can see here is showing the battery activity. So it means actually now we are not connecting with the AC power, we are using the battery, but it will not influence the using for the machine because we have the battery inside for keeping the machine to be used at least for 3 hours. So now this will be the standby interface and is distinguished by the adult and pediatric. So for example, if you are using for the neonatal above 2 kg and to the children around 30 kg, then we will choose the pediatric mode. And for adult, we are using for the children above 30 kg and to adult, we can choose the adult mode. And when we are choosing it, we will use the rotate button here. For example, now we confirm for adult mode, and then we can do the setting for the parameter under each of the ventilation mode. For this machine, we have the IPPV, AC, SIMV as the volume control mode, and we have the PCV as pressure control mode. And also, if you like, we have the PSV for option. So for this machine, it's including the pressure control and both the volume control. So it can use for most kind of the patient. Now under each of the ventilation mode, we can see there are several parameters. The most important will always be the first column. For example, under the IPPV, we will see the VT means the tidal volume. It will be always to be set by the patient weight. The second one will be the breathing frequency. This one is the inspiration and expiration ratio, and inspiration time, sign, and PEEP. So what is sign? Actually, you can see here, it has the 100 parameter by here. So for example, now if I set it by 5, it means 5 of 100. So it means by the next 100 breathing circle, it will have 5 times giving the long breath. So the time counting will be every 20 seconds, every 20 breathing cycles, it will give 1 time of the deep breath. Because we know even the normal people, we need to deep breath for some time for keeping comfortable or having some rest. And also, when you are doing the deeping breath, actually you are breathing in more oxygen and breathing out more carbon dioxide. So the patient SpO2 can also always keeping in a good condition. After all of the settings for ventilation mode, and each parameter. Then we can press the confirm. So we will get into the main interface. So by the main interface here, you can see there are 4 parts. The first part, which we have just mentioned, it will be the alarming information part. So here it will show the alarms, and here it's showing the patient type, we are just setting. And here is the ventilation mode, we are just choosing. So it's just for reminding the doctors if he already collect the right mode and right parameter. And then the biggest part is the middle part here. So it will be the second area. We call it the waveform area. So you can see it has 1, 2, and 3. Totally 3 waveforms to be synchronized shown on the screen. And even sometimes, if the doctors, for example, they like to see the loop, we can also change it to the loop, and later I will introduce to you. The third part will be here by the bottom side. So you can see there are many parameters here, but actually these parameters are what you have just set. So this we call it the adjusting parameters. It's also for to reminding the doctors if they have do the good connection for the parameters here. And then the last part will be here, the right side on the screen. It will be the monitoring parameters. So you can still see there are many parameters here, but all of these parameters are from the patient end. So the doctors can tell if the patient is using the machine good or not from the monitoring parameters by here. And also sometimes we can increase or decrease after we are checking this. For the buttons here, you can see the first button here is for mute. Once we press it, you can see on the screen by the top side, there is 2 minutes time counting. That means by the next 2 minutes, actually there will be no any noisy or alarm come from the anesthesia machine. So then the doctors can do the operation in a very silent condition, and also the patient will not be disturbed. But after 2 minutes, then the alarms will come again, because we must ensure that if the doctors not forget to turn it on, then the patient may be in dangerous condition. If you want to stop the mute button, you can just press this again. So then it will give the alarm again. For the second button here is for the alarm settings. Once we press it, we can see there are 2 columns come out. The first one will be the alarm limit. We can see 4 parameters here for oxygen, minute volume, peak pressure, and EtCO2. So for this machine, actually EtCO2 is also option. So for each of the parameter, we can set for the upper limit and the lower limit. Why we need to set this? Usually, actually, when you get the machine, you don't need to care about these settings. But for example, if sometime we come for a patient who is very fat and we need very big parameters, and then we need to set in for the pressure here. For example, now if I set it by 40, then it means if the pressure is more than 40, then the machine will give alarms. But if some patient maybe they need more pressure, then we can just press this. You can see once we take it on. For example, now I set the upper limit by 60. Then it means only if the pressure more than 60, it will give alarm. So you can just set for some different kind of the patients. And also we can see the second column is for the alarm info. When we change to the alarm info, you can see here we're also writing battery activated, just the same like here. So all of the alarms shown here will also be shown in the alarm info. So by the alarm info, actually it will show all of the history alarms, even days before, even months before. So after half a year or 1 year, if the engineer comes to do the maintenance, then we will suggest them to check about the alarm info by this page. So they will know what has happened to the machine and by what time. So they will know what they can do to give the machine a better maintenance and to recover the machine to the original condition. For the third button here, once we press it, you can see it's the function setting. The first one here is for the graphics. Just like I have mentioned in the main interface, I tell you that we can open for the loop. So actually the switch will be here. We can just turn it for on. Now you can see by the screen. So it will have 1, 2, 3 waveforms and 1, 2, 3 loops. So 3 waveforms and 3 loops will be synchronized shown on the screen. Because we know some doctors, they may like to see this kind of the waveform to know the patient condition. And some doctors, they may like to see the loop. Actually the loop is just like a circle. It will start from one point and then also end by this point. And for the machine, actually, if you are choosing the option by the ETCO2, then you can also change the graphic to ETCO2 and time to see. For the second column here is for the environment setting. So the first one will be the language. So by this machine, actually, we already have enough language for you to choose. We have English, French, Russian, Arabic, and also some other languages. And even if you want to change to your local language, you can tell us. Even we don't have it, you can help us for the translation, and we will write it in the software for your better sales later and promotion in your local market. Here we have a change for the day and the night. It's just like your mobile phone. So because we know in the nighttime maybe the screen should be much more lighter, and in the daytime it can be dark. And also for the alarms, we can turn it on or we can also shut down it. Here we have an ASL. It's also a very charming option because we can set, for example, we know in different countries, actually the ground height is different. So then we can set here to ensure the parameters for the machine. No matter you use the machine in very high place or in very lower place, you can use the machine with very accurate parameters. The third column here will be oxygen calibration. So for the oxygen calibration, you only need to use it by several situations. The first one is when you first time install the machine. After the installation, you need to do it one time because we know in different countries, the oxygen concentration in the atmosphere is different. For example, in China, maybe 25 to 20.9, but actually maybe in your country, 21.2 or 22. So there are a little bit of difference. But if we can do the oxygen calibration, then the parameter will be very accurate. So then, by the 21%, we only import the air. So that means you only connect with the air pipeline, do not connect with the oxygen pipeline. And then we press here. After 10 seconds, it will write in complete. And then we change to 100%. You take out of the air pipeline and only connect with the oxygen pipeline. Then we press it. Also after 10 seconds, it will write in complete. So then the oxygen calibration is finished. It's very easy for operation. Also, there is another situation you need to use this oxygen calibration. That is, for example, if the oxygen sensor after 1 year or 1.5 years, maybe it's already goes out, you need to change a new oxygen sensor. And after the changing, we need to do it again. So only these two situations you need to do it. The fourth column here will be the time setting. It's just like your mobile phone to set the time as your local time. And the last column here, you can see, the first one is for lock. For example, if we make the locking, you can see by the screen, we have this signal by a lock by here. So that means now for the machine, you cannot do the setting for any parameters. So this one is only being set, for example, the doctors and nurses get out of the operation room, operation ward. We only leave the patient alone there. Then we must ensure they are not doing any wrong operation. So then we need to lock the machine. When we come back, we just unlock it and we can do the settings again. This one is only for changing the unit because we know in different countries, in the standard, they are using different units by here. Here is for changing to page A and page B because for only the page A, actually it's not enough space for showing all of the parameters. So then we can change to B. So by the B page, you can see there are still two parameters. The C means the lung compliance. So by the compliance, by this parameter, we can tell if the patient is using the machine good or not. We can see the resistance from the patient and the machine. And here is the inspection time. And the last one will be here, only when you are using the ETCO2 sensor. And here, we can do the setting for the oxygen concentration by here. And the fourth button here is for the parameter setting again. You will see actually it will be same like when we are in the standby interface for the parameter setting. So why here we have it again? Because, for example, if we are doing the operation, so during the operation, if we want to increase or decrease the parameters, we can only press this button for doing it. Because if you get to the standby interface and set it again, it means the ventilation will be stopped, so the patient will already be dangerous. But if you press here to set the parameter, the ventilation will going on, and then after you increase or decrease or even change the ventilation mode, it will immediately change to what you have set. so it will not influence the patient breathing, and it will keep the safety. And then will be the last button. You can see for this button, if I press it, actually you will see there will be nothing happen because we have a design here. For example, if sometimes the doctors just press the wrong button here and then it get into the standby, it means the ventilation stop, then the patient will be dangerous. So only if you press this button for 3 seconds, 1, 2, 3, and after 3 seconds, it will enter into the standby interface. So now the ventilation will stop. So this is only used after the operation, or you want the machine to get a rest. And then we will introduce the below side here. You can see here we have 2 gauges, pressure gauge, and also the flow meter. So for this machine, actually it's a 2-gas system. So oxygen is the driven gas, so we must have the oxygen. So then by the natural side and air, you can choose one of them. For this machine here is writing the oxygen and natural side. And if you don't want to use the natural side, you want to use the air, then we can change here to the air. And also by the back side of the machine, you can connect with the air source. For the flow meter is the same. So here, because it's a 2-gas system, so it has 2 flow meters for each of the gas. But you can see the 2 flow meters, one is from 0.1 to 1, and another one is from 1 to 10. We have this design because we want the setting for the mechanical flow meter is enough accurate. For example, if we are setting about 6.5, then from this line it will be 6, from this line it will be 0.5. So it will be directly what you have just set, and no need for you to check it again and again for keep the accuracy. And here this position is for the vaporizer. As you can see here, for the anesthesia machine, if you only equip with one vaporizer, then before the shipment in our factory, we can put this foundation by the middle side, so then it can keep the machine look very steady and beautiful. But actually for this machine, it can put 1, 2. Actually it can put 2 vaporizers position together. So if you are equipped with 2 vaporizers, then it will be not by the middle side. It will be left side 1 and the right side 1. So it can put 2 vaporizers at most. Then for the vaporizer itself, actually it has several functions. The first you can see, you can tell in by the capacity from this mechanical flow meter. So you will know if it's already empty or it's full, or there are how many medicines still live in the bottom. And also here we have a self-lock function. You can see here it's from 0 to 8% because this is a self-flooring. So if I want to adjust it, actually you can see now it cannot be moved. Only if I press this 0 button, and then we can move it and set for the concentration for the anesthetic medicine. And when you change to 0, this button will be pushed out, so then it will be steady. So it's just for the safety concern. And also it will have the interlock function. If you are putting 2 vaporizers together by here, then if you open one of the vaporizer, another one will always be closed. So you can only use one vaporizer at one time. Also for our vaporizer, it has the pressure, flow, and temperature automatic leakage compensation. Because we know for the whole pipeline of the anesthesia machine, from the gas source finally to the patient mask, actually it's a long way. So of course there must be many things for the leakage. So if the vaporizer has the automatically leakage compensation, it can always ensure by the patient end, the patient can always get what the doctors want them to get. And when we want to pour in the medicine, we just rotate this button. We can just rotate this one out, and then we pour down the floor by here, by this port. So this one we call it the pour filling. And if you want to upgrade it to the key filling, we can also upgrade it to the key filling. So then we will just put a key tool by here, and then it can ensure there's no medicine poured on the floor, so it can save the medicine. By here we have a port. This one we can call it the ACGO, like this. So the ACGO means the auxiliary common gas outlet. So this port is very important for the anesthesia machine. Only if you have this port, actually the machine can use for more patients and in more conditions. So now let me introduce the functions for the ACGO. The first function for ACGO is that after the operation, then we want the patient to be recovered soon. Then we can connect the port, this ACGO port, with the pipeline, and to let the patient breathe in the pure oxygen, so it can ensure the patient to recover in the next 5 minutes or 10 minutes. So can make their recovery be faster. And the second using is that, for example, if someday in an emergency situation, there is a patient come to the hospital, need to do the operation immediately. So we don't have time to test them if they have the infectious disease. Then we can use the pipeline to connect the ACGO port to give the patient to do the operation, so that it will never influence the main pipeline. And the third function is that only when we have the ACGO port, we can do the open circuit operation. So we can connect the pipeline by here and doing the open circuit by pressing the back. And the last function is also very important. For example, we know our machine has the built-in battery, but for example, in some emergency situation, actually the AC power is failure and also the battery goes out. And so we can still using the ACGO port for giving the gas to the patient. At least we should ensure the patient is always alive and safety. So these are the 4 functions for the ACGO port. And when we want to use it, we just press this button for the exchange. When we change to the ACGO port, you can see by the screen, it will show ACGO. So it's reminding the doctor now we are using the ACGO port. And when we are turning it back, then it will disappear. This button is the rapid oxygen supply. It's for giving the pure oxygen. There are 2 functions for this. The first function is that after the operation, we can press this button to give the patient pure oxygen for their recovery. And also during the operation, if we find by the patient monitor, actually the patient SpO2 is getting lower very, very fast, then we want to recover their SpO2, we can also press the rapid oxygen supply to give them several times of the pure oxygen to help them for the recovery. And also, for the second function is that we know every time before the operation, after we are setting for all of the ventilation mode and the parameters, actually the bellow will be still by the below side. Then, if we want to get into the operation as soon as possible, we can press the rapid oxygen supply to make the bellow to the top side, and then we can already use in the machine. So this is the 2 functions for the rapid oxygen supply button. Then we can see the drawers by here. For this machine, only have 2 drawers, but you will know each of the drawer, the depth is very, very good. So you can see inside, not only we can put the patient document or some accessories, even sometime when we are shipping the machine, we can put the patient monitor inside of the drawer. So then it can save the space and save the free charge, especially when you are shipping the machine by air. The second one is the same. And by the trolley here, it will have 4 wheels. And the first 2 you can see, the first 2 has the brakes. So when I tap it down, then the machine will be very steady and cannot be moved. Next part will be the patient circuit. We will first see the construction. For the patient circuit, it includes for several parts. The first one will be the bellow. Second one will be the plate by the middle side. And then it will be the carbon dioxide absorber. So for the bellows, it's just for control the patient breath in and breath out, just like the lung function. For the carbon dioxide absorber, we will put the soda limb inside, and then it can absorb the water generated by the patient in the pipeline, and also it can absorb by some carbon dioxide. So this is also very important. And you can see from this bellow, it has a big capacity. It's 1.5 liters, which we also call it 1500 milliliter. So it's a very big one, because we know for some other machines, maybe they have only 1 liters or even 800 milliliter. So if you have a big one for the absorber, then it can ensure the operation to keep on for a long time and no need for changing the soda lid. By the middle plate, we can see there are several buttons. First, this button here is for changing from the manual ventilation to the mechanical one. Now we are keeping here by the manual ventilation because it has a sign for the bellow. So here, this symbol is for a hand with a bellow. It means the manual ventilation. Once we change to it, you will see by the machine screen, it will also show this symbol. It reminds the doctor now we are using the manual ventilation. So the only thing we need to do is for press the back to keep the patient breath in and breath out. And by here, actually there are 2 valves, the inspiration valve and expiration valve. Both valves are single valve. That means if here comes the gas, this one will always be closed. If the gas comes from here, this one will be always closed. So there will be no any leakage. Also by here, this one is the APL valve. This one is also for control the flow when you are using the manual ventilation. It's from 25 to 75 liters per minute. So you can just rotate it. And then for this, the port here, first one and the second one, you can see we can just rotate this one out and pull it out. So why we need to do that? Because the flow meter actually is inside. We have this inside design is that we can keep the flow meter to be using for more years and it will never be broken. So the flow meter, you can also pull it out for the cleaning. So it will be very easy for your operation. For this handle here, it's for holding the pipeline. If now you are not using for the patient, actually you can see, you can just put the pipeline by here. So the pipeline will not pour down on the floor. You can keep it steady. And also we have another method is that we can take out the test lung or the patient mask. And then we put this one by here. It's another operation. So then we can also keep the pipeline very steady. Also for this machine, inside of the machine, we have another designs for the separate design for the gas circuit and also the electric circuit. It means when you open this cover, you will only see the electric lines inside. When you open this cover, you will only see the gas tubes. So actually it's in different place. It will ensure that the gas tubes and the electric lines will not cross over. So later, if the machine has any problem, we can find the problem exactly and do the change. Now we will see the back side for the machine. You can see the power voltage for this machine. It's running 100 to 240 volts. So it means actually it's already like to have a AVR inside of this machine. So no matter you are using the machine in which country, even your local voltage is not very stable, we still can use our machine very stable because it's a wide range for the voltage. Here is the port. Like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, there are 2 gas sources for the oxygen because it's the driven gas, and another one for natural side, or if you choose air, then it will be air. By the both sides of the anesthesia machine, by the left side and also by the right side, actually we can put in on the frames. For example, many customers, they may buy the anesthesia machine with our patient monitor together, and then we will give a frame by here and loading out. Then the patient monitor can put it on side. So then the patient monitor can be just transmit with the anesthesia machine together from different patient ward to the operation room, etc. So this will be the whole introduction. Thank you.